Beautiful now. So, I'd like to start with a very liberating thought. 3 thoughts, actually, that set the world free. This is not me. This is not mine. This is not the self. Now let's think about this for a second. What does this mean? This is not me. This is not mine. This is not the self. Anything that we identify with, anything we think is us or ours, at one time was not. We did not have it. It was somewhere else. It belonged to someone else, and it came into our lives. At some point, it will leave our lives, or we will leave it. Circumstances. There are so many ways that can happen. These 3 thoughts, this is not me, this is not mine, this is not the self, allow us to embrace the reality of this situation. 3 thoughts that imprison the world are, this is me, this is mine, this is the self. These are 3 thoughts we assume. And what I mean by that is that we just take these thoughts at an assumed reality. We do not question them, when in actuality we really need to. These 3 thoughts, this is mine, this is me, create division, draw lines, and force us to have to defend or to protect something that does not actually belong to us, or an ideal that we didn't think of ourselves, that we learned and then chose to believe. Ideals are wonderful, but if they aren't questioned and examined, they are problematic. No matter how beautiful the ideal, many horrible things have been done in the name of beautiful ideals in this world throughout time, all facilitated by this is me, this is mine, this is the self. That assumption creates an endless wave of confusion. And it needs to be questioned at the source point by who is experiencing this, who is here, who is feeling this. When we ask ourselves who, we bring a gap into the feeling, an openness that allows us to not be in the space of the feeling, but rather to become the space that the feeling is happening in, which is the reality of the situation. But the I, the thing that is identified with the feeling, is enraptured in the feeling, and the feeling seems much, much bigger. And so does the situation, because the situation is outside of the feeling. But all we have to do is recognize that this is not us or ours. We are temporary custodians. We have responsibilities. But those responsibilities, for example, taking care of our loved ones, taking care of our children, those responsibilities are temporal. And what I mean by that is they change over time. And 30 or 40 or 50 years down the road, what we all have to learn is that who we think we are, we have to let go of. The stories that we've told ourselves are not static. They are fabricated. And to awaken to a greater reality is to see beyond those stories. Now that can be a very shocking thought to us in our culture, because our culture functions on storyline, and we think our storyline is very important. It is to us. So in no way am I saying it's not important. It is to us. But to the universe, it would be an assumption to say that when you look at the vastness of nature and the vastness of the arising and falling of being, every being has its story, and that would mean that all those stories are equally important and equally the same. And that sameness is something that we don't really like to think about, because we like to think we're very unique, and on the surface we are. On the surface, everything is different. But the deeper we go, the more we are the same. And that sameness is where we are unified, and to experience that is where we can start to reconcile divisions in the world, by reconciling the separation in us. Because this is not me. This is not mine. This is not the self. Thank you very much for watching. Be sure to like us and subscribe. Hit the bell icon to be notified for when we post new videos. We would really love to hear your comments and suggestions. We love questions. We'll be happy to answer any of the questions you ask and go more in depth on them. We're exploring a number of very deep topics, so please ask. We'll talk to you soon.